Hello guys, today I'll be doing a CD collection video for Iron Maiden, and this was requested by Christian Perez. I hope I pronounced your name correctly, but shout out to you. Now when it comes to Iron Maiden, they were one of the first classic or older metal bands that I ever got into. It was them and Metallica who were first for me. But anyways, let's go ahead and dive into this CD collection video. Now, the first one of course is their debut album. And of the two Paul albums, I do like this one more, but either way, I still think Killers is, of course, a great album. It does have its share of highlights like Wrathchild, the title track, and, of course, Purgatory. But next we have Number of the Beast. This is the original CD. And the rest from here are pretty much originals. The only remasters I have are the first two albums with Paul. But next I have Peace of Mind. Definitely another great album. Power Slave. And this was originally my favorite Iron Maiden album, but nowadays it's Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. And next we got Somewhere in Time. Another great album, and this is of course the album where they started using synthesizers. Next we have Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Honestly, maybe one of my favorite albums of all time, and of course one of the best metal albums of all time, in my opinion. Definitely a great album, not a single weak moment on the album, in my opinion. And next we have No Prayer for the Dying. In my opinion, a pretty underrated album. Some people, when it comes to ranking their albums, some people put this album at the bottom, which I totally disagree with. I put a different album at the bottom, and you'll know which one I put at the bottom when we get there, but I don't know. Again, I think it's a pretty underrated album. It does have some highlights like Tail Gunner and Run Silent, Run Deep, The Assassin, and the title track. A lot of great songs on this album, in my opinion. Yeah, it's not the greatest production, and the drum sound on this album is kind of flat, you could say, but either way, I still do like the album, though. And next we got Fear of the Dark, probably my favorite of their 90s work. Definitely a great album, it still holds up for me today. It has some great deep cuts, too, and lesser known songs like Judas Be My Guide and Childhood's End. I really love those songs. But next we got The X Factor. Now of the two Blaze albums, I do like this one more. Definitely a dark album, a slower album I guess you could say, but yeah, it kind of has a dark atmosphere to it, and I dig this album. Some people might call this album or the next album their worst, but I don't know. I personally put this album above some of their albums, but some of my favorites on the album are Lord of the Flies, Man on the Edge, Judgment of Heaven, and Sign of the Cross, and many others. Definitely a great album. Next we got Virtual 11, which I think is easily their worst album, but it does have some highlights. I do like Future Real and The Klansman. Those are honestly the only songs that I return to from the album, at least nowadays, but Lightning Strikes Twice is okay, and Como Estas Amigos is also an okay song, but you have songs like Angel and the Gambler, which are just some of their worst work in my opinion. And they return strong with Brave New World. This album is excellent. In my opinion, one of the best comeback albums in metal. I absolutely love this album. Many highlights for me, like The Wicker Man and the title track, The Mercenary, Dream of Mirrors, Out of the Silent Planet. A lot of great songs on this album, and also you have The Fallen Angel, which is a kind of an underrated song in my opinion. Next we have Dance to Death. Another pretty good album, kind of underrated too. Not as good as Brave New World, but still a solid album though. I mean, the album artwork, definitely not that great, but not the worst thing I've ever seen when it comes to artwork though, but again, not that great. But yeah, either way, still a great album. Next we got A Matter of Life and Death. Final Frontier, not one of my personal favorites, but I do like it. And finally, Book of Souls. Now, when the album came out, some people thought it was one of their best or the number one best, which honestly I disagree with. It's honestly not one of my favorite Iron Maiden albums, which might be controversial for some people, but I don't really care. I think it's a little bit overhyped, but I do like the album though, but the title track is by far my favorite on the album. But anyways, that's my collection. Let me know your thoughts on my collection. Do you have any Iron Maiden CDs? If so, how many? And all that good stuff. But anyways, thanks for watching. Please leave a comment, like, subscribe. Have a nice day, and take care.